And welcome back to the 78th Annual Columbus Day Parade, the Columbus Citizens Foundation, right here on ABC-7. What a beautiful day we have this Monday afternoon, and right in the middle of Manhattan on the east side here. We have so many wonderful floats going by and so many people that we are honoring today who represent Italian Americans in such a wonderful way. So now we had one honoree today, Tom Golisano, who is the Grand Marshal of today's parade. And alongside Tom is another honoree, Bill Amelio, whose core values as a businessman, a philanthropist, and so much more reflect his upbringing in a strong Italian-American family. Mr. Amelio, so good to have you here. Congratulations on being an honoree today.
Thank you, Ken. It's great to be here.
Well, Bill, look, you have had a career of innovation and technology. I know that. But you never forget where you came from. You made such an outstanding speech at the gala the other night, talking about what your father taught you. Talk to us about that.
I'm going to interrupt you, Maria. My fault. We're supposed to go to his piece first.
Oh, yes, let's do that.
My fault. We'll be right back with that question. Take a look at this about Mr. Amelio.
My father was a shoe repairman, first-generation Italian. My mother was a second-generation Italian. My dad taught me early on the importance of customer service, quality in everything you do, and hard work.
Those values set Bill Amelio on a track for success.
I went to Lehigh University on a wrestling scholarship, loved wrestling, loved the idea of competition, and then had the great opportunity to be a chemical engineer and go work for IBM for 18 years. And that set my path on how I thought about management and leadership.
After IBM, he led the way at companies like Allied Signal, Honeywell, Dell, and most recently at DoubleCheck.
I gravitated quickly to the idea of being able to lead others because I like the idea of getting a lot of things done rapidly, and you can't do that by yourself. I think it's really important to be humble and to realize that you didn't get where you were by yourself. You got there because somebody saw you were a special person and they wanted to help you.
Growing up Italian-American taught Bill a lot about social responsibility.
My father and my mother always took us to church and had a deep faith. I think that helped us gravitate to the idea of that to whom much is given, much is expected. That would be a guiding principle in my life from the time I was a kid till now.
Today, the Amelio family gives back through their charity, Caring for Cambodia.
My ex-wife was visiting Cambodia. A little girl says, well, I need a daughter to go to school. And my wife was taken back to say, you had to pay to go to school. One thing led to another. And from there, we ended up doing 21 schools, and now we're educating 7,000 kids. I was married for 27 years, and we've had 6 kids. We actually adopted 2 from Cambodia.
Bill's proud of the hard work and family values that led to this honor from the Columbus Citizens Foundation.
There's something really remarkably special about an Italian family. Your heart sings when you're with your family, and I think that's something that really resonates with me when I think about being an Italian American.
Yes, it's true. And that's what you were talking about on Saturday night, how your father really taught you so much and that humility came through. Tell us how you've been so successful, Bill. I mean, what is it that shaped your destiny?
Well, I think that shapes each and every one of us is the failures that we have. Because from a failure, you learn so much. If you're willing to learn, it's that idea of lessons learned and then say, how can I apply that in the future so I don't do that same mistake again and I get better and better. And I think this idea of self-competition, the idea that can you be a better you each and every day? And if we all can strive for that, we'll have a much better place to live in.
Yeah, but how did you know that? I remember first meeting you on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange years and years ago, and you were talking about new products. How did you get there? I know that it's what shaped you in failures, that's fine, but there's got to be something that kept you going. Was it your Italian heritage and this hard work ethic?
There's no doubt about it. Being an Italian-American, we had to fight our way all along. And I mentioned in my remarks on Saturday about the fact that I was always in fights when I was a little guy because I had to stick up for being Italian because everyone said Italians wouldn't amount to anything. Yeah. And I wasn't educated at that time about all the wonderful things that Italians have done over the years, from Marco Polo to Christopher Columbus to Michelangelo, and there's just so many Italians that have made a mark on the world. That has inspired me to do the best that I possibly can do.
I love it.
Bill, so you're wrestling. You look like you're in good shape, my brother. I can see it. You're staying with it, aren't you?
I can still get it done.
Come on, man. I tell you, I know. I'll go with
You want to go? You want to go a couple rounds?
Come on, let's do it later, man. I tell you. You pull back as you get older, but if I may, go over there. You know, when I'm working out, I take it a little easier now. I don't push myself because I could feel I'm going to, hurt myself or anything. Are you running? Are you running, Bill?
I do the Peloton and I lift weights still.
The weights are great, right?
Yeah, oh, the weights.
The weights
People don't understand it. They got yoga. I don't get the yoga thing.
I love yoga.
All right.
Stop with the yoga.
Give me the weights. The gym. Come on.
Yoga and
Come
I love
on.
yoga, yeah. But you've also got a great philanthropic career. Tell us how you decide what you do in terms of your philanthropic. Like, why Cambodia?
Well, I lived in Singapore for 10 years, and we were there. We were looking for something to do that was meaningful. When we lived in California, we were part of a lot of charity in California. But when we went over to Singapore, we said, is there somewhere that we could make a real difference? And we visited a lot of different places, and Cambodia came calling. As I mentioned, my ex-wife at the time, a little girl came up, pulled on her blouse while she was standing in front of the fabulous temples of Angkor Wat, if you've ever seen those before. And there were 4 monks that came across with their orange garbs on, and at the same time, this little girl asked for $1. She said, what do you need $1 for? She said, I have to have the $1 to go to school. And she says, well, we'll give you the $1 if, in fact, you can show us your schools. And that was the start of the charity. And from there, we built 1 school, and now we've had 21 schools built, and we educate 7,000 kids a year.
Yeah, I wonder if that is an Italian-American thing, giving back like that. Because I mean,
it's an American thing.
Yeah,
America
that's a great point. That is a great point.
Most philanthropic.
You know, have you gone back to the homeland, to Italy? And
many
they
times.
welcome you like a superstar, right?
Well, I'll tell you what was interesting. I was visiting Catanzaro and Taverna, where my father's family was. And it was so interesting that when I was walking around the neighborhood, I started looking around. Everyone looked like me.
And that's what happened to me when I went to Naples. I thought, wait, am I related to all of these people?
I went into my grandfather's church. There was a lady. She was bent over. She looked at me. She goes like this. Piscopo. Like yeah, they can tell it, man.
Awesome.
All good. All good.
Before you go, how are you feeling today?
Outstanding. This is a wonderful day. Look at the weather.
Yeah,
I mean, God blessed us today. There's no doubt about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Bill Emanuel, what an honor to have you here with us, and congratulations on that.
Bravo.
All right, we're going to be right back with more of the 70th Annual Columbus Day Parade right here on ABC-7. Don't go away.
Guardami, ma tu sai che ti amo. Basta l'indifferenza, non vuoi mai capire.